unless a part of that procedure was to actually have a packet prepared so it could otherwise be reviewed. I mean, there's many bills we may not have questions about, but if it's our first time seeing them, then we're gonna have to look to see if we have a question.
I rescind my motion that we prepare a financial packet by Thursday, the week before, to be in each person's mailbox. Or email.
All right, well, here's the deal. That don't work because we get bills in on the second Monday of the month that we put in this packet, 2 or 3 bills already today, so.
2 or 3 added today would not cause a dilemma in tonight's bill process. The dilemma is if we have 47 bills this month, then I have over the weekend to look through the 47 bills. I prefer them in my mailbox out there, not in an email.
I just know that when we passed this resolution back in April of 2020, it was per the suggestion of MTA. They suggested that that all townships should have one. And as far as I know, most townships, if not all, do have one. It's not to say that we're not gonna, or we shouldn't do the bill paying like we do now. I think we should. But this is just to have, in case something comes along that needs to be paid, that can't wait for a meeting. It's not to say that we're gonna pay all these bills and not review them first.
So my motion is first. And my motion is that we go back to this resolution from 4/29 of 2022, that we did not stop this in a resolution, we stopped this with a motion. And we go back to this for paying bills.
So 2 things. One, the last time this came up, Justin, you told me the motion next to the resolution. Now you're saying that that's not the case.
No, I don't recall that taking place because resolutions always trump motions. Most of the time resolutions are more procedural based. Like you can pass a motion to accept the roofing bid. Where a resolution might say, this is the process you go through. I guess the one thing I'm unclear on is, was there a subsequent resolution that created whiteout and whited this out?
No.
There was a motion
Because
that
if
was
you have
unanimously approved.
Yeah, because if you have a motion to have a second meeting, that doesn't mean you can't have a second meeting. It just means that most of the bills might be paid
That wasn't,
based on the
it
resolution.
wasn't a motion about a second meeting. It was a motion about whether or not we were doing a post-audit resolution, and we did away with the post-audit resolution in that day's meeting. And so right now, we're going back
Attempting.
2 years is the attempt. Let's go backward so that we can go forward, which seems absolute idiocy to me.
And in my last conversation with MTA, when I spoke to the attorney there, maybe this was a recommendation they made at some point, but she was actually quite astounded that it would be done that way. And I had a conversation with Mr. Dory some time ago, earlier last year, and he said that when he was previously on the board, there were absolutely not bills paid before they were reviewed by the board and approved to be paid. I've talked to people in other townships that sit on boards that absolutely have hard and fast rules for how that's gonna work. So you can say this is just here in case it's an emergency, but these 7 items on here, payroll, utility bills, emergency service bills, training seminars, invoices with penalties or discounts that would be incurred if payment's not received prior to the board meeting, contractual obligations, and the supervisor also can authorize emergency expenditures. What does that not cover? It covers everything. So you can say, you know, we're not gonna pay them, it's just in a specific circumstance. But if we approve this, you basically have permission to pay everything. And when I first started, everything was already paid before we even looked at the bills, before we even looked at the invoices. We had check stubs attached that the payments had already went out. And that is the reason for the motion that was unanimously approved in September of 2021, that it didn't make sense to pay, for us to approve bills when the check's already gone. Horse is already out of the barn. What difference does it make if we approve them now?
And most interestingly, you don't need trustees if you're paying everything before they do their fiduciary responsibility. Point blank, period. So
Well,
you're saying the public
all right.
should redo the government.
I have a motion on the floor to go back to this resolution. Do I I hear
Can I
some,
make one more comment?
sure,
Would it make a difference if we change that to only paying the bills that would incur a finance charge?
we can't
You know.
change this resolution.
No, but I mean,
Resolution.
make another motion to say that we're just gonna pay the bills that would include, a finance charge, a penalty or whatever, to just pay those bills and that's it.
Well, from what Justin is saying now, a motion doesn't trump a resolution. So if we made that motion, but we re-upped on the resolution, based on what he's saying, the resolution would rule, not the motion. So, I mean, am I misinterpreting that?
Like process has to follow like process. We can't have one trump the other, I mean. So if you have a resolution saying this is how everybody has agreed to move forward with, then that is what everybody needs to do until or unless you get a new resolution. So for example, if you decide, hey, we're gonna take some of these out, we're gonna do a new resolution for only certain things.
I think we should suspend the conversation, go
Well, I
back
think,
over
wasn't
this.
the original motion that we were supposed to have the bills ready by, like, Tuesday, well, I think the original one was Monday at 5, so that you guys could review them by that Thursday at 5, so
Wednesday.
that by our Monday meeting, they would be ready to be paid. So the motion, I believe, and I can go back and look it up, was that the clerk's department would have them ready by Monday at 5, for the trustees to approve them by Thursday, so they could be paid by the following Monday. Which, that's not a legal motion anyways, because the trustees don't approve the bills to be paid. The board approves them to be paid.
Well, that's where we go back to the story and statement by MTA. Right now, everybody sitting at this front table is a trustee. Every one of us. We are,
But no one or two individuals has the authority to approve them on their own.
so then it was corrected. But every one of us is a trustee. And so what you're saying is it's kinda happened a couple times where 3 out of 5 people were approving things because the other 2 couldn't get here for the meeting. Because they moved to an afternoon meeting, and then that can't happen. And the point is, we still have to pay our bills. And so, but to have this long list of what is permissible,
Do you know who you spoke to at MTA?
Me?
Yeah.
I'd have to look at my paper, the female lawyer,
Do you
The
have
female-
it- do you have
Catherine
it in writing?
Milgram?
I believe so.
Or was it just a verbal conversation?
I called her on the phone, we had a nice
Oh, it's
conversation.
not maybe in writing.
No, I can call her back.
Oh, no, that's
Yeah.
fine, I can make the call myself. I don't have a problem with
so what are we gonna do right now? I'll withdraw my motion.
Should we write up a new resolution? Probably limiting it to certain, like I say, to maybe just the bills that will incur a penalty if we don't pay them?
I would be open to that. I'd be open to that. I think long time ago, Molly provided me with a list of, the standard bills.
Right.
The ones that we get each month, utilities, and,
Verizon, Spectrum.
Yep, exactly.
And
That list.
actually, we put those on being paid with the credit card because we actually get a percentage back.
So that's, I would be open to that idea. I would not be open to just rehashing this. I think it needs to be more specific.
Would you be willing to help write something up?
Absolutely.
Okay. If you would do
My
that.
suggestion would be to maybe incorporate what you guys have all agreed upon with it, which is if it can be scanned and presented like the week before to be viewed by the following Tuesday, and then if not approved or initialed, I should say not approved, initialed, then it triggers whatever your new resolution is.
Well, if we only are going to approve bills at a board meeting, then we go through the bills one by one prior to the board meeting. So when we get to that on the agenda, we just approve what we already went through the hour before.
Mhm.
So I don't feel there's a need for a second meeting.
No,
Well,
like I
that's-
say, if we just have a resolution stating that we can pay the bills that will incur a penalty, we wouldn't have to have a second meeting, we can just pay those bills and then present them at the regular meeting, because they've already basically been approved.
Well, and you said it was quite easy to get those due dates changed when you just called people, so,
I did,
you know,
right.
that's a
I
way to
did
work
that.
with it too.
I did with everything from the 27th. I haven't tried these utility bills and that.
Well, those are a little trickier, but, I know they've recently made a change, but I know previously it was the 16th and the 23rd, but they wiggle a little bit based on what day that falls on.
So are we looking to do a new resolution today? Meaning,
I wouldn't say today,
I don't think we wanna put these people through that.
yeah, I wouldn't say today, but we will work on a new resolution. If Lori wants to come up with some ideas, I'll try to come up with something.
So we have a new resolution drafted
We can incorporate it.
by our next meeting.
right. So we're gonna table this resolution 4/29/2020 to the February meeting.
That's not a thing. It's technically still the law of the land until
Yes.
you have a new one, so
We can't
technically
just put
speaking,
this
you can
on.
actually pay bills.
No,
But you already have all your bills
I know
paid,
that,
so
I know
it becomes
that.
somewhat moot.
Yeah.
Technically, our motion that we had the last time is in place because we all voted to override this resolution for a while there,
So,
so.
so Justin. Since we're suspending this, we're going back to the other, but the question is whether or not we have to get together to do a second bill pay because the bill's pay dates have been shifted, correct?
Well, if we do this resolution, like we said, that will take care of the second bill. If we do the resolution stating that we're gonna pay the bills that will incur.
I thought we shifted the bill pay dates already.
Only on the ones I had the day of the 27th, so if there was anything else that comes in,
So at the end of the month, anything that shows up then has to be done, yeah. This
well,
month.
it would have to be put on the February bill agenda. It would have to be put on the February pay, second
Yeah.
Monday of the month.
No problem. So we are not having a second bill pay this month, is that the understanding?
We shouldn't need to, everything
No.
from that meeting has been moved.
I'm just clarifying that, so everybody knows what's happening.
He
Okay,
had a question though.
who did?
Trustee Campbell said, Justin, I have a question.
Oh.
Or did you kind of work it out?
I'm just making sure, are we meeting a second time this month or not, since we are going according to where we were, and that was my question.
I guess this is kind of me being a weenie. The fact that you have a motion creating a second meeting and that meeting has already been approved, yes, you're having another meeting. You might just show up and have nothing to do,
Well,
so you might wanna contemplate.
however, the last motion that set up the second bill pay
7
meeting that
PM.
Sam made, well, no, that was prior to it, when we were doing 6 PM. The last one, Sam had the meeting read something along the lines of for a 2-month trial period.
Oh,
We would do it at 3 o'clock
Oh,
in the
yes.
afternoon, in November and December.
So we don't have to worry about that. It's
So
done, it's
that's a
finished.
trial period, so our
Menudo.
trial period's up.
If you said for 60 days, then.
It did.
61,
Yeah,
if
2
you're at
months.
61 days,
2 months.
then it kind of dies on the
Praise
vine.
the Lord.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, so the supplied innovations here was a bid that we got to replace the copy machine. We're probably going to have to table this applied innovations because we did contact Brady and they now, as of yesterday or Friday, so I printed it this morning, sent a bid to replace the,
Oh, Sarah?
yeah, whoop. So we'll table that. It's probably gonna take a few months to get a machine, no matter which way we go. And as you can see, I think both bids is only saying what we own right now is worth about $750.
But that thing that was bought in, what, August of 2019? Was it August of 2019?
Yeah, I think something like that.
So that's 3.5. I
3 years.
mean, and it's worth a tenth of the price we paid for it. So what is the situation with it that it's beyond use? I mean, it seems like we're losing an awful lot of our $8,000 investment to trade it in for $750 on that short of a lifespan.
Well, one thing is the fire department needs a copy machine. So what we're looking at, and why we got some of these bids, first of all, this implied innovations, they indicated that they could sell us a machine and it would cost less per month. We've also contacted them now that if we keep the machine and give it to the fire department, will they furnish ink and how much and everything as a bid in comparison to what Brady is charging us now. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't get a chance to look at Brady's per se bill or their presentation and see how it even compares with Applied Innovations. So it was a case of, there is probably one thing that when I looked at his, this is for, I don't remember how many years,
Aren't they usually 5-year agreements?
but he is stating that, yeah, he is
4
stating,
years,
how much?
48 months.
Yeah, he is stating at the end of 48 months, they would probably trade this in if we did a lease agreement.
Right.
I would probably recommend that someplace it states that rather than the 60 months for this lease thing. But,
If it is a lease, you don't actually own it, so there's nothing to trade in, you're just
right,
renting it.
right,
They just pick it up, take it.
right.
So, and, you know, I'm not opposed to looking at that, it just, I mean.
And Brady's is a lease.
They're giving pricing for that, but most of these, I believe, run 60 months. And if we didn't get this, I'm sorry, 5 years total. If we didn't get this until 2019, August of 2019, we've still got quite a bit of contract. So did Ms. Oxenkill say anything about them letting us out of that? Because that's gonna change
No,
what we can look
actually, I
at.
believe our maintenance contract that we do have with them ends this August,
Right.
so. I mean,
So
it's
we
some-
bought the
it's
machine.
something that
I
we would
know.
have to look at, you know,
Right.
if they will just extend the contract that we have at a better price, you know, per se, but I think our contract ends this August.
Well, Eric kinda made it sound like we wouldn't get it until August anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Right.
saying, we would have to order ahead of time.
Yeah,
Right.
I get that. I
Yeah.
just think we need to double check that date, so we don't end up having some unintended consequences.
So we
But other
need
than that, I'm good
the
with
date,
table.
Brady contract. Expires. So I move that we table this Applied Innovations until we get a chance to look at Brady's and we can talk about the whole thing one more time. And I'll get you guys the date of the Brady's contract when it expires on the machine we're working on. But for $750, in my opinion, we can't afford to turn that machine in if the fire department needs a copy machine. I mean, cause it's gonna cost $400 or $500 or more, $1,000 to buy at least one for the fire department. We might as well leave that one over there if we can get a contract to maintain it, put the ink in it that we agreed to. And we are going to get one from Applied Innovations because we've asked them to give us one.
What?
A
To see if they will
agreement,
do it, okay, yeah,
agreement to maintain or get us the ink in that for that copy machine.
right.
All right. FYI, the sheriff's report. The last 4 months, the day of the meeting, the sheriff brings in his paperwork, and a couple times I didn't have it on here to talk about it. So I put December on here, and they haven't brought it in yet. So I don't have the sheriff's report. He'll probably be here tomorrow with it, and we'll just do it next month. So that was, I was hedging and it didn't work. So. Any other FYIs?
Budget meetings?
Well, I'm gonna start working on the budget, I haven't even got a preliminary put together, but yes, I am gonna start working on that. So, any other, FYIs? If none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Oh, hang on. Mr. Beeson, did you want to speak? I forgot about you. You got behind everybody over there. Did you wanna say something to the crowd?
No, I'll be back on another one, maybe the public comment will be at the end, so I get a chance to.
No, I moved the public comment up to the middle of the meeting.
Well, a lot of these ones I go to, a lot of these board meetings, they have a public comment in the beginning, so if anybody wants to say something, they say the thing and get out of here, so they're not, sit here, and the other ones have it at the end, so that way they can get a part of it. I was just checking to see how yours is running, that's all I'm here to do, I'm going back to get sworn in tomorrow to Lansing, and, have it interesting, but I'll be back for another one of these to see it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for, and if,
You and Mr. Banaszak as well.
you guys, and if you
Thank
guys
you.
get down to Lansing, look me up, cause I give a good tour of the state capitol, and I love blowing off Lansing stuff for my constituents, they give me a key to everything, no matter when you guys get there.
You take any of your smoked meats
I-
with you to
I-
Lansing?
In fact, I'll show you a picture on the 12th floor, I'm doing 2 smoked briskets, coleslaw and tuna salad for the swearing in.
What time was that gonna be?
When
Yeah,
is that?
really,
3
we're
o'clock
coming,
in Lansing on Wednesday.
we're coming.
Come, show up.
Hopefully you don't set your fire alarm
You're not
off.
going to.
Actually, funny, I did the indoor